external factors that affect the heart. Right now, what are we fighting with? We're fighting government laws and policies that are antithetical to the Word of God. There is abuse of political correctness. There is something called language confusion, right? Where good is bad and bad is good. And you have to be listening out. I'll give you an example. Women's health care. That is a term that is used for abortion. But what it is what? It's not health care, it's death care. But I love the way that the government is a master of spin. They will take any phrase and sell it to you in a beautiful package. And so they'll label it as something that it is not. The abuse of political correctness and policies that will force you to lie and adopt false ideologies regarding marriage, sexuality, transgenderism, drugs, abortion, etc. I can go on and on. These are the things that we right now are fighting against so that they don't take over our children's mindset. Next, the school and academia, seeking to disprove the existence of God. That's all they do from morning till night. Marxist propaganda is being ingrained at all levels of academia, seeking to sow division by creating more and more discord amongst the people. The current day scientists, and I want to say scientists, who only seek to disprove the scriptures and the existence of God by claiming, for instance, that nothing gave birth to everything. Does that make sense? No. And by this, what I'm talking about is their theory of evolution, their theory of the Big Bang, etc., etc. So nothing gave birth to everything. For them, it's easier to accept that than to say that from the beginning there was a God, that he created the heavens and the earth, that he is infinite, that he is eternal, and that he is the source of our existence. They rather believe the first rather than the latter. And they want to teach our children that. And so everything that they teach them stems from that. There is no God. And so now we're going to figure out the laws of the universe. But how foolish of them, for if they are laws to the universe, someone must have written out the laws, right? We are fighting the cultural trends. Demonic influences over music, entertainment, designers, right? So the designs, I don't know if you've noticed, but children's clothing, it promotes sin. It promotes lust in men. The children are children. Let them be children, right? But no, the LOL dolls, for instance, tiny little skirts, makeup, just provocative, right? And so they're pushing this on the kids. I don't know if you watch the cartoons, but I mean, the clothes get skimpier every day. Just yesterday, I had one of my daughters ask me, Mom, what about a boy being in love with another boy? Okay. And I said, what do you mean? Well, why are you asking me this? What happened? So no, you don't remember? You mentioned this to me about a cartoon that she had watched. And there were two kings in the cartoon. And the two kings were married to one another. So if you're not paying attention, they're putting that into your kids' heads. And I said, well, I had to sit there and explain to her, God does not agree with that. And I had to go over the whole story of creation, just like I did with you guys this morning, and explain to her how she is to react, because she's just 7, right? And she can't go around pointing a finger at people saying, well, you're going to hell, and that is sin. So I have to, especially with her, because she has no filter. And so I have to be very careful on how I navigate the conversation and teaching her to say, you know what, that you have free will, that is your choice, but I live to please my God. And God says that I shouldn't do that. So anyway, just one example. Television programming seeks to normalize sin, right? Gone are the days where Lucy and Ricky slept in separate beds. it's now borderline pornographic what you're watching, okay? And the ratings, yeah, they're good, but to be honest, they keep pushing that envelope, right? What was PG is now PG-13, what's PG-13 is now R, and what's R should be probably X. So we have to be mindful. And it's not only of the sexual content and of all the hidden agendas that they're trying to push, but the programming itself, right? So they're trying to basically control us, how we should feel about politics, how we should feel about one another. You're constantly being bombarded, programmed to think whatever they feel is correct, right? The internet grants you access to everything and anything on a large scale, but it also grants the world access to you and your children. So when they go online, they're exposing themselves to child predators, influence of friends and peer pressure, right? So ask your kids or your grandkids, who's your friend in school? What did you do today? Be involved. Be involved as a parent. Teach the children early what it truly means to be holy, to be in this world but not of this world. It starts with the celebrations, and I have to say this, for us, the church, we have given into a lot. But I'll tell you this much, for instance. In my house, we don't celebrate Halloween, period. Yep. We don't celebrate it because it's a culture of death that you're celebrating. So we celebrate life. And I explain that to them. And that's okay. This is how you're going to teach your kids later on to be bold about the gospel, to not be ashamed of Christ. It starts when they're young. They can't, they're going to feel bad because they don't have a costume on Halloween day and they didn't get their candy. That's okay. It's just candy. You could buy them candy any other day. But you have to be willing to pay that price. It's okay to be different. I'd rather you be different serving God than you be like the world serving the enemy. Okay?